Hi everybody, Jay Michaels from the WEBE 108 Morning Show, and it's time for another Tuesday test drive. Welcome. Our featured dealer this week, Dan Perkins Subaru of Milford, 1 Boston Post Road, exit 35 off I-95, and we're going to have such a good time today. We're going to be test driving an exciting vehicle, brand new 2016 Subaru Forester. They all come with symmetrical all-wheel drive, and this has got some special features we can't wait to show you. In just a moment, we'll tour around the outside of the vehicle, and then we're going to jump inside for our test ride, and you're welcome. Well, here we are outside of our featured dealer of the week, Dan Perkins Subaru, Boston Post Road, 1 Boston Post Road in Milford, exit 35 off I-95. We're getting set for our Tuesday test drive. How you doing, Josh?
Pretty good. How you doing, Jay?
Josh has been working with Dan Perkins, or at Dan Perkins, for 3 or 4 years now,
Yeah,
right?
about 3 years.
And today we're test driving the 2016 Subaru Forester, a special vehicle. So before we get inside, Josh, let's take a tour around the outside of the car and explain some of the features.
No problem at all. That'll be pretty easy.
All right.
So this is the 2016 Subaru Forester. It's the XT model, meaning it does have a turbo. So it has a little bit more horsepower than our base edition, which is 170 horsepower, and this one is about 250. So it's much better off the line, and then for you enthusiasts out there, it hugs more of the road with the suspension that it has, and it's just better off the line all around. One of the best things I like about this car is the wheels itself that goes along with the XT. They're the 18-inch. They just have a nice spoke design, little two-tone paint between the black and the gray. And then because this is also the turbo edition, in the front bumpers where they made some of the changes, they no longer have the hood scoop like you see on the WRXs and STIs. They've actually they moved them down to the front end of the car, both sides, to give it more of a mean look. Another newer addition to this car is, in 2015 they introduced it, is the power rear gate. So now if your hands are full of groceries, even though you do have a sportier car, you can still use it for everyday purposes. You got a baby in one hand, a grocery bag in the other, you can still open the gate and get in the back. Now, one thing I didn't talk about was the eyesight system that is available on all of our Subaru models, depending on which model you look at, which is a front-facing camera system. There are 2 front-facing cameras that go on either side of the rear view mirror. And what'll happen is, actually does a bunch of different things, is when you're on the highway and you have your cruise control on, this is called adaptive cruise control. You can have your cruise set to 70 miles per hour. A car can come into your lane doing 50, and you won't have to touch a thing. Your car will see that car in front of you, move you back to 3 car lengths, and then match that car's speed without you touching the brakes, gas, any buttons on the steering wheel. It just does it automatically. If that car then leaves the lane, our car will then speed right back up to the original mile per hour that you had it set at. So this is the engine for the 2016 Forester, the XT model, of course, because you wouldn't have this intercooler on the base. But that helps take the air from the front of the car as you're driving and force it down into the intercooler, which cools it and then sends it to the engine to give you more oxygen flow. The main thing that Subaru does, you can notice that it's pretty simplistic. Subaru tries to make it really easy to work on their vehicles, so you don't have to move like 3-4 different parts just to get to the air filter, just to get to the oil filter and things like that, so it's a lot less service cost. I mean, you can even see that the oil filter's top mounted, and it's not mounted underneath the car.
Well, we've just begun our Tuesday test drive with our featured dealer of the week, Dan Perkins Subaru in Milford. Hey Josh, how you doing?
Pretty good. I gotta keep my eyes on the road though. I can't really look at you.
I know you can't. You can't look over. What a nice vehicle. I noticed we have this nice window on the top and the roof here.
Panoramic moonroof is what they call that.
Panoramic moonroof. That's beautiful. And you know, I have owned Subarus for 10 years, and this has a different feel to it. I have a 2012. This is the 2016 Subaru. Tell me a little bit about the difference just riding in the front seat.
Well, this one's going to feel a little different from yours, mainly because it's the turbo model, the XT, so it has a slightly different suspension than what you're used to. A little more sport tuned, yep. To give you that better feel and acceleration from 0 to 60.
Is the turbo, is this a new thing with Subaru?
No, actually, Subaru's been doing the turbos for a while. They started with the WRX back in 2002.
But now we're moving into the Forester and some of the other models as well?
Yeah, we introduced it into the Forester, the Legacy, and the Outback. They no longer make it for the Legacy or Outback. because they have the 6-cylinder versions now, which is a little bit smoother power flow.
So the Forester now has more power, along with all the other benefits.
Yep.
Let's talk about that power.
Well, the base model Forester has a 170 horsepower, while this is a turbo, so it has 250.
Oh!
So I'm about to merge right now, so I guess we could take a look at the...
Woo!
I don't even have it floored because I don't want to...
Is this a sports car? Whoa!
This is considered to be a sport family small SUV, we'll go with.
Hey, how are we doing in the back seat, everybody? Well, that is a lot of acceleration, and like I said, I've owned the Forester. That's unique. That's new to me. That kind of power, and that's what you get with this turbo.
Oh yeah, that's the best thing about this car. It's getting on the highway and just letting loose.
Now let's talk. I noticed one thing when we've taken a couple of turns. The handling is exceptional.
Yes.
Even with that power, it can take the curves.
Now, it's not necessarily the all-wheel drive that gives you that, or not necessarily the suspension that gives you that. It's mainly the all-wheel drive because of the symmetrical all-wheel drive. Basically, what you can do is you can cut this car in half from Subaru symbol to Subaru symbol, and it's going to be the same weight on both sides.
Really?
Most other cars don't have that, such as like Honda, Toyota. They have a side-mounted transmission, which causes the front end to be off balance on one side. And that's what causes a lot of torque steer too with higher performance cars. When you go to hit that gas and the car kind of just veers to the right, that's because there's more weight on that side of the car and it's kind of jumping that way. With
you don't have that problem here.
No, because the transmission with Subarus is mounted directly behind the engine, so you have that balance the whole way through and you don't have to worry about anything as you're going along.
And again, that helps in a really stable ride.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about internals. The space inside the 2016 Forester, about the same as it's been? Any changes?
It's never gotten smaller.
Okay, well that's good. That's good.
2009, they redesigned it from the basically the wagon version of the Forester. It was redesigned in 2009 and became a small SUV, more comparable to the Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4s. And then since 2009, it was again redesigned in 2014, which gave you a little bit bigger cabin, a little bit better visibility. The Forester's actually been known for the best visibility out of all of our cars because of all the glass.
I can vouch for that. Let's take a look at the dashboard. We have an infotainment system right in front of us here.
Yes.
Which is very nice.
All touchscreen now at Subaru. Subaru finally got on the bandwagon of the electronic industry.
Right. Well, that's good.
A while ago, our cars were known as ugly but reliable.
Ugly but
now
reliable.
They look great and they sound great and they ride great. Well, back then we only had the ride and the longevity of the vehicle. Now we have everything else to go with it.
Longevity, no question about that. Also, steering wheel controls too, I noticed.
Yeah, you can be fully hands-free with this car. Volume controls, preset stations, and even if you don't have a preset station, we can talk to the car and tell it what station to turn to.
Beautiful. Let's talk about something that I know it's taken for granted, but we got to talk about safety. Subaru is a safe vehicle.
Yeah, nobody really talks about that with Subaru anymore just because it's considered to be standard.
Yeah.
Subaru's known for their safety for a long period of time. We have 5-star front side crash test ratings. This is a, well, not this specific model because this is the sport model.
Right.
But if you go without the turbo, it's a National Safety Pick Plus, top in its class as far as safety. Front dual stage airbags, side curtain airbags. Subaru even goes as far as to have a safety brake pedal system.
Wow.
Nobody even knows what that is.
Yeah, I know. Explain that.
In case of a severe frontal impact, what will happen is the brake will engage, but then it will slide up underneath the dash so that your foot doesn't get pinned underneath it.
Wow.
That's the main cause of like ankle breakages and foot injuries during accidents.
Well, they thought about just about everything. One thing we talked about earlier in the dealership, Josh, was how the price for all of the Subarus have not gone up. The price has stayed stable through the last several years. It makes it such an affordable buy.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
Well,
I mean, back in
user friendly.
Yeah, 2000, early 2000s cars were like mid-20s, and they're still mid-20s in 2016.
Pretty good. Can't beat that. Now, this particular Forester, we have some pretty good deals right now in terms of financing and leasing. Why don't we talk a little bit about that?
You have as low as 1.49% financing on the Foresters, depending on the term that you go. Leasing's great. We're one of the only manufacturers that kind of, if you decide 2 years into your lease that, you know what, this new model came out, I kind of want it, With Subaru, we're one of the only ones that can actually get you out of your lease early because the cars are worth more or about what the buyouts are.
Well, that's something we talk about in your commercial message, the fact that Subaru holds its value.
Yeah,
which is fantastic.
we retain about, depending on the car, up to 60-65% of the car's original value over the course of 3 years.
Wow.
It's nuts.
That's pretty good. Let's talk about inventory at Dan Perkins for the Subaru line, and specifically this fine vehicle, the 2016 Forester.
We're packed. We need to get some of these cars off our lot. Quite frankly, we have so many right now that we're just doing whatever we can to move them. And we have people coming in every day, but Subaru just keeps bringing more cars.
Wow, wow. That's a nice situation. You have a lot of vehicles and you're selling them at the same time.
Yeah, well, it helps being one of the largest Subaru dealerships in Connecticut, so
right.
A little bit more leeway than some others.
Anything we can speak about regarding service of the Subaru in terms of if you purchase anything there that's relevant?
Well, the cool thing with Dan Perkins Subaru is we offer a lifetime warranty for no charge with new and used cars.
I knew there was something I wanted to get to. The lifetime warranty, of course.
Yeah.
Who offers that?
We do.
You do.
We do. It's not a Subaru thing. It's a Dan Perkins thing. So I can't tell you if any other place does it, but I know that this is the only place I've ever worked at that does. Last year, the year before, Dan Perkins actually paid one of the claims.
Really?
We had a lady come in. She had, I think, 110,000 miles on her car. So, of course, the warranty was up. Regular warranty, of course. But she needed head gaskets. And I think she actually did a commercial spot on her website with that, saying that she had it done.
And so the lifetime warranty kicked in?
Yeah, it kicked in. She gave us $100, and we did a $3,000 repair.
Oh, my word. That's now that's on select Subaru models, I would assume?
All new Subarus.
All
and with us here, because we take pride in our service department, and we know that they check out the cars very well. Mark Mesdor is our service manager, and he's one of the best guys I've ever worked with.
So when you have such a reliable vehicle as the Subaru, whether it's the Forester, the Impreza, etc., you can offer that warranty because more than likely you're not going to pay out on it too often. That's how well the car is.
And we'll even do it on the used ones too.
You do the used ones?
Yeah, as long as it's a 2012 or newer with less than 55,000 miles on it, you get a lifetime warranty too.
How do we contact Dan Perkins Subaru?
You can do multiple ways. You can go to our website at www.danperkinssubaru.com. You can give us a call, 203-882-5686.
Can we walk in?
Yeah, of course. We always accept walk-ins.
Absolutely.
We're a little different than some other dealerships. We're not a high-pressure store. We don't want to sell you one car. We want to sell you every car. If you don't have a good experience with us, then you're not going to come back. You're not going to send your friends, your family, your relatives, your sister. You might send your mother-in-law.
So you invest in your customers, obviously.
Yes.
Well, I don't know what else we can say except this has been a really eye-opening Tuesday test drive, our featured dealer of the week, Dan Perkins Subaru, 1 Boston Post Road in Milford, exit 35 off I-95. This has been a great test drive. I've enjoyed it, and I own a Subaru. Josh, thanks so much.
No problem at all.
Well, there you have it, another Tuesday test drive. This week, our featured dealer, Dan Perkins Subaru of Milford. And don't forget now, that's exit 35 off I-95. We test drove the 2016 Subaru Forester. What a great ride, what a great vehicle. Now, it's time for you to take your own test drive at Dan Perkins Subaru.